Hello and welcome to NextGen Nordics 2022, setting the blueprint for payments innovation to help shape the future. Now, it's been 2 years since we last met with the community in Stockholm to discuss the latest trends across the Nordic payments ecosystem. And this year we'll be talking about where we're up to with P27, the significance of central bank digital currencies, ESG goals, real-time payments, liquidity management, and finally, the metaverse. But perhaps most importantly, what's really driving the change for next year? Let's hear what the delegates have to say. Could you run us through the main topic areas you're most excited about discussing at this year's event?
I think basically the most interesting thing is actually meeting people again. And then, of course, P27, what is actually happening.
P27 has been what's going on, deadlines, when is it actually going to happen? Is it going to happen, I think, is the greatest thing.
That private initiative of the biggest bank is really exciting. That infrastructure is the most ambitious that exists today, of doing cross-border, the Giro, ACH in multiple currencies at the same time. That's really exciting.
Today I think that there are a lot of things coming and we are in a process of implementing them and defining them. So I think instant payments, request to pay, open banking are the things that's been discussed most and are really on the top of the mind of both corporates and banks today.
Today I'm most excited about discussing the transition to instant payments across the Nordics and what that means for sort of consumer-facing account-to-account payments and sort of the opening up of that space.
We talk about the instant payments, we talk about the buy now, pay later, but actually for me the important part is real-time data. More real-time data needed for sustainable decision making.
Most interesting to hear about the Nordic payments ecosystem's response to the metaverse. There's a lot of things happening with what the metaverse could be, and I think it's super interesting to hear what the payments industry will do in that area.
What use cases are there? What are the technologies? What are the enablers that we can look forward to? So I'm totally excited about that.
I think that my main focus and interest is around the CBDC and more so the cross-border CBDC, and I think that I'm really excited to see the other panelists' view on the relevance of CBDC.
The trends for today, obviously central bank digital currencies, everybody wants to understand them better. The other thing also, which is the upcoming European digital identity space, and what does that mean in context of central bank currencies, but also authentication and identity verification for banks.
I think the Nordic still has some ways to go in terms of having an instant payment rail that allows money to move in real time between one point A to point B essentially.
Now the big advancements today is ISO 20022 as a universal standard of payments. That's going to open a world of opportunity. Combined with instant payment scheme and the new modern technologies of API, I see those not as regulatory requirement, but as new opportunities for banks to generate new values and gain competitive advantage.
Yeah, I think that you could look at buy now, pay later for businesses. How will that evolve? What is happening around commerce in the B2B space? How will that digitalize and all of that? Because we have seen that now in the B2C area for a decade. What will then happen the next decade, but then in the B2B area?
I think it's still standardization, harmonization, interoperability. Those are the things that are going to bring the Nordic payment landscape together.
Today actually we are impacted heavily with the geopolitical situation happening right now, and that's impacting that the central banks, the governments are looking into how to survive over the crisis period and how to implement the payment infrastructures, for example, tolerating the situations that we are facing.
A lot of other industries are looking at financial services to really help them transition into becoming more sustainable businesses. We will need financial services as an enabler in many, many industries. And so I think the pressure's on really from all the customers to provide the services needed to transition to a greener economy overall.
I think the ESG discussion was very interesting, and one of the key takeaways that I had from that discussion was that in order to manage with all these challenges that we have in front of us and implementing these challenges, diversity is really important.
There are a lot of different terms and different type of companies that are present here. You've got all the way from the traditional players to the very advanced and modern players in the Web3 and the decentralized layers. I think what's really exciting about these conferences and really these groupings in general is you get to exchange ideas across two different generations. Meeting of minds of different generations is probably what's most exciting and that I really enjoy over here right now.
I guess the Nordics is still seen as an area that's leading the way, and I know a lot of the rest of Europe is seeing how some of the more immediate things like P27 and things kind of work out, cross-border payments in real time and things like that. So there's a lot of excitement about the realities of that as well.
Listening to delegates and speakers, it's clear the industry is under constant change, and the Nordics continue to be leaders in those important conversations, which we look forward to reflecting on next year. So we'll see you then.